The Department of Agriculture will consider new telework policies that expand employee access to remote work even after the pandemic's over. It's one of several agencies looking at telework policies in light of the virus, and it could have big implications for how much office space the government needs in the future. Maryland Democratic Senator Ben Cardin's proposing a new look at how the government gets and uses office space. Senator Cardin, welcome. It's good to talk to you. What do you think the office space footprint of the federal government could or should look like after the pandemic?
Well, Francis, first of all, it's good to be with you, and let me thank our federal workforce. They're the frontline workers, and they have really stepped up during COVID-19 to serve our nation. And I thank them. They put their own health at risk, and they did what was necessary to carry out essential functions. But we also know that we can be much more efficient on the use of telework. We've been urging for a long time a more direct policy that allow agencies to use telework more efficiently for their workforce. So we expect coming out of COVID-19, where we've been able to demonstrate how telework works, that we will be seeing a more enlightened policy in agencies on the use of telework. That certainly will affect the footprint, but we don't think it would have a dramatic impact on the size or needs of federal facilities. We do want federal facilities to be more efficient, more environmentally sensitive, more using green technologies, but we also expect that there'll be more liberal use of telework policies.
One of the comments that you made that Federal News Network reported on recently was the idea that this is not just a benefit to the worker, this is a benefit to the provision of the service to the citizen. What have you seen or what have you learned from your constituents over the past year, Senator, that indicates that that's the case?
Well, you're exactly right. It's so much more convenient for constituents to be able to get services if they don't have to leave their home. So we've seen the advantage of using technology to advance the mission of the federal agencies. So yes, and I just speak from my own personal example. I've been able to get all around the world a lot faster and a lot more efficiently. I've been able to get through my state, but a use of technology that I couldn't do before without leaving my office. So I have found that we can be much more efficient in meeting the needs through telework. We save not only the commute time, we also save the challenges of bringing various people together much more efficiently. So it's a better way to conduct business. Now, it doesn't eliminate the need for personal interaction, but it certainly reduces the inefficiencies of travel.
Would you expect to see the layout of federal real estate different in a post-pandemic environment, more space for people, maybe a move away from the hoteling environments that we've seen become popular over the last 5 years or so? Or is it just too early to tell, Senator, what you think that will look like?
No, I do think you're going to see different configurations. We now recognize that there are areas and needs that will occur that's hard for us to fully predict, like a pandemic. So therefore, as it relates to having better spacing, that's something that should be built in to our federal requirements. Having a much better ventilation system, I think you're also going to see as part of us moving forward to protect our federal workforce and provide an environment that can meet the needs of the future.
How do you propose that we prioritize whether the government should own or lease its space? There's been a lot of discussion over the years about whether the government should be a landlord to itself or tenants to private sector companies, those kinds of things. Does that matter, or is it more functionality and mission delivery in a particular application, sir?
Well, Francis, that's a great question, and there's multiple factors that go into whether the government should own or whether the government should lease. Certainly, leasing gives us much greater flexibility. Ownership, at least directly, may be less expensive on the long run, but may be more costly on the short run. So there are a lot of factors that go into whether we lease or whether we own. Some of it's a security issue. So even if we lease, we have to have long-term leases and have to have control of the entity. A good example of that is we look at the new FBI facilities. We were looking at a campus facility. The government has to have total control over the property. So even if it's on a lease arrangement, it's going to basically be an ownership arrangement.
The FBI, the building is the delicate one, I suppose, is the appropriate word to use. You and your counterparts in Virginia are trying to get it into their jurisdictions. The district would like to keep it. There are a number of efforts at play there. What are the conversations like, in not necessarily particularly in the FBI case, but in an issue like this, because those might come up over the next several years as agencies think about where they need to be and where they should be, where it's reasonable for them to be from a cost perspective?
Well, I think the issue concerning the FBI ran into an obstacle because of one person, and that was the person who occupied the White House, who wanted to keep the FBI for personal reasons on Pennsylvania Avenue. Every study that's been done shows that the security needs of the FBI needs a campus-type facility that cannot be accommodated in the Hoover building. So I don't think there's much disagreement that we need a campus-type facility for the purposes of its security concerns, as well as bringing together the critical mass necessary to carry out the critical function of the FBI. You're correct. There is competition between Virginia and Maryland. We're very bullish on Maryland. We think Prince George's County is the right location for that facility. We have all of our stakeholders in Maryland supporting that decision. We hope we can put that back on track now that President Trump is no longer in the White House.
Senator Cardin, we have about 30 seconds left. Legislatively, are there things that you and your colleagues can do regarding the federal footprint overall? Oh,
absolutely. We're the policymakers of government. We can certainly work with policies that deal with the size of the federal footprint, the commitment to our environment, and our commitment to the safety of our workforce. All of that can be built into federal policies.
Senator Cardin, thanks very much for joining me today. I appreciate your time, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.